All right, I'm with Terry Harbort, CEO of Talisker Resources. TSK is the symbol on the TSX in Canada, and Talisker is a producer now. So we're going to talk about the Bralorne Mine with Terry. Terry, how are you?
Very well, Robert. Real pleasure to be on here and chatting about Talisker at a really exciting time for us as we start to ramp up here at Bralorne.
Yeah, it is an exciting time. This is years of work coming together at a time when gold is $3,400 an ounce in US dollar terms. It seems like it's pretty volatile the last few days. It's hard to tell if it's 3,300 or 3,400 or 3,500. So what's new at Bralorne, Terry?
Well, really, we're just following and executing our plan that we laid out earlier on in the year. So far, we're starting to ramp up our production. As some of your listeners will know, we started our production early on in the year at about 100 tons per day. We've increased that now, and we have days sort of in between 150 to 200 tons per day. So this is all part of our plan, part of our staged ramp up. We've been going well with our development. So development working on multiple levels. And when I talk about levels, their values above mean sea level. So we're starting at our 1120, our 1105, our 1075, and our 1060. So it's about a 60-meter area that we've started to develop on multiple levels.
Yeah, so the viewers can understand a little better how mining works, especially in the ramp-up stage of an underground mine. You put out two sets of results for the 1075 level and the 1105 level in the last month. So you drill these levels first, and then you advance the stopes to get ready to mine. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. And really, when we drill things, it's quite a wide spacing. So we're sampling at a very tight spacing. So when we drill, things are either drilled at 25-meter spacing or 12.5-meter spacing, and a lot can happen to the gold distribution in between those spacings. So as we develop the development rounds, we take channel samples, which are basically like cut drill holes, Robert. The guys get in there with a electric saw, and they cut horizontal channels across the face. So it's basically like a drill hole, and they're doing these every 2.4 meters, which is every blast. So every blast has a front sample and a back sample. So it's a very high sampling density that we're seeing coming out. So often when you sample, things can go one or two ways. They can go be good or be bad. And what we've seen in these last couple of press releases is they've gone very well. So we've sampled at a high density, and we've seen very high grades come up in this development. And the development's wide. It's about 3 meters wide, and that's the width of our machinery that's got to get in there and then take the stope out, which is narrower in between each of these levels.
So yeah, like the news you had out last week from the 1075 level, so that's deeper down in the mine at Bralorne. Some of these grades are pretty extraordinary, like 45 grams or 60 grams per ton gold. That's well above the average grade of the resource, as far as I understand it. So does that affect the economics? Was this news to you that you hit these very high grades?
Oh, it's always expected in a high grade deposit that you are going to get variability in the grade. So you will get some very high levels, and then you'll get some lower levels. What's really important is consistency, because we just can't mine only the areas that have got 60 grams per ton, because they can be quite rare. So what we really work on is what an average grade of production is. And really, we like those very high areas, particularly when they form nice chutes where we can get quite a bit of that material. And it might increase our economics, But there may be other areas where we're in that's lower grade areas that we've done the development to, so we'll still mine them anyway. So it comes out in the wash, and it adds, and it might increase the average grade that we're producing. But at this early stage, we don't want to rely on that. We don't want to be expecting our average grade to be 30 grams per ton, because it's likely that it's not going to be that.
Okay, so which stope are you extracting the ore from right now, and are you going to get into that 1075 level soon?
Yeah, so we're actually developing between the 1060 level, so that's 1,060 meters above sea level, and the 1075, so it's 15 meters above, and we're extracting the stopes between those two levels. So that's currently what we're working on, and then we'll work our way up to the higher stopes as we extract and process those stopes.
I see. Okay. And as far as the ramp up of the overall mine goes, you said 150 to 200 tons per day. I know there was a goal to reach 300 tons per day at some point, I think, in Q3 or Q4. So how is that going? Are you still confident of that?
Oh, we'll be hitting our 300. It's most likely to be, we'll be towards it towards the end of the year. But in our mine plan, it's actually scheduled for Q1. But we'd like to hit our targets a bit earlier if we can. It's always good to have more gold coming out of the ground. It all depends on our development rate. So what we're focused on now is our planning to get our development out of the way. And development's always the main bottleneck to production. In open pit mines, it's the strip, you're moving the dirt so you can get to the veins. In underground, it's waste development, so getting access to where those veins are. So we'll soon be starting to focus on developing across to Bralorne West. In Bralorne West, we've got 5 high-grade veins there, very good strike length, about 500 meters along strike, and very good grades. So that'll be the focus of mining in 2026 across in that new area, and also continuing down at depth at the Mustang Mine, particularly on the Alhambra vein, which is a really exceptional high-grade vein.
So the key is to wipe away the waste rock, essentially, to get access to the veins that hold the high-grade gold. And at the Alhambra vein, you have some very high grades of gold. You just need to get access to them. So tell us about that, and what are the average grades of that vein?
So our development that we're working on now, working underneath the Mustang Mine, so it's a spiral development, so a bit like a corkscrew that gets us down underneath. We'll be doing some drilling underneath there, and really what we expect to see is average grades in the realm of 9 to 11 grams once we've diluted the material for our mining width. So the veins are narrower than what we're mining, so we add a bit of wall rock in there. We're fortunate because our wall rock's mineralized with a gram to a couple of grams, but our average grade we expect is sort of between that 9 to 11 gram mark.
Okay, let's talk about the offtake agreement and the gold concentrate sales. So there's going to be a gravity concentrate and a sulphide concentrate. So tell us, how that works and how you get paid for the concentrate.
Yeah, so we have 2 products that come out. We have a lot of free gold. So that's I think many of your viewers would have seen that in our press releases. A lot of gold nuggets, if you like, everywhere. So that comes out in the gravity circuit. And the gravity circuit, after the material's been ground up, is a centrifugal thing and a shaker table that basically separates those small nuggets or free gold. We have other gold that's associated with the sulphide mineral. So that continues on to a flotation circuit, and that floats the sulphide up, and we extract the gold within there. So there's two distinct products that come out. We have an agreement here, an offtake agreement with Ocean Partners. They're a very large metal trader. They have a lot of warehousing opportunities and long-term deals with smelters who smelt both doré products, so that's a silver and gold product, which then gets refined into the gold bars that we know and love, and then the other is the sulphide product. Often after it's been sold, we don't know what happens to that product. Often they blend the high value gold products in with other concentrates. So there might be a copper concentrate that's low value in gold, so they'll blend it with that to bring the gold value up. So a lot of opportunities that they do. The advantage with an offtake agreement is that we can get paid immediately. So we can get paid as soon as the material's picked up from the milling facility. We get paid a percentage. I think it's 90% up front. So that really helps our working capital. We don't have to wait till that material smelted into gold bars and sold to the final vendor before we receive our capital. So that's a fantastic way to structure these deals and to be able to pay very well. Our overall payment rate's quite standard across the industry. It's about a 90%, 95%, so about a 5% discount to the current spot price. But Ocean Partners is very good to deal with, so we're able to have flexibility in when we price the product. Luckily, at the moment, it's very stable here around this 3,500. So pricing's not really of a concern, but it gives us great flexibility as we go forward.
So the pricing that they pay you is based upon the spot gold price, is that correct?
Yes, based on the spot price and based on either a moving average of that price or on the price of the day. So it's variable. We can have flexibility in when we choose that price.
And do they pay you more for the free gold, as opposed to the sulphide concentrate?
No, it's just based on the gold value.
I see. Okay. I'm kind of interested in your thoughts on the share price and the valuation of Talisker right now. I mean, obviously a lot's happened the first 7 months of 2025. There's been some financings that have happened. The market cap, I think, is around 90 million based upon the current share price. It might be a little off on that. What do you see as the value proposition in Talisker shares, and what sort of a re-rating do you think the company could see as the ramp up evolves and you hit these key milestones, over the next year?
Well, I think we're on a pretty good pathway here to initially head towards 150, 200 million market capitalization. I think that's still an undervalued level based on the resource and based on the upside that we have. Our internal modeling, looking at the net asset value for Bralorne, just with the current mine plan and ramp up we expect probably going to be in the 300 to 400 million mark. So we'll be working towards preparing an economic study, a PEA, that will justify and back up that there. But it's basically based on our mining pathway that we're at now. So it's a long, slow road. As a junior miner, we're gradually starting to see these incremental re-rates. And we're at a really critical point here where we're seeing our first cash flow come in. We've started to ship our first material. We'll be looking at expanding our production, so getting a lot of this critical development out of the way so we can really ramp up our production and make some hay while the sun's shining here, Robert, while we're seeing this great gold price. It's a great way to make money and put that back into growing the project. And we really know there's so much gold there at Bralorne. It's just about getting the drilling and the development done so we can mine it and take it out and sell it.
Okay, yeah, let's make hay while the sun is shining for sure. Let's ramp this up to 500-600 tons per day at that 11 gram per ton grade. That would be fantastic. So final question, Terry. What's the news flow for Talisker going to look like for the rest of 2025?
Well, as everyone's probably seen, news flow is really increasing. And really, this is just a touch of things to come. We've got a lot more face sampling that's coming out. We'll be having an announcement coming out in the next month or so. That's our first stope, so our first commercial production stope coming out. So that's pretty exciting news. We've got some great news on our ore sorting. We've just had some preliminary results come in, so we're putting those out to market. It really looks like a game changer here. This technology works very, very well with our ore, and it can really impact on our economics as we're going forward. We're looking to kick off our development both down at depth at Mustang and across to Bralorne West, which greatly de-risks that project. That's about 5 or 6 months worth of development, some drilling involved in that we expect some pretty good results coming back. And then, of course, the really big announcements, which will be cash flow, money coming in instead of always just going out. So as we ramp up, that'll be slow and incremental, but we're starting to see that coming in, starting to see that revenue coming in as we transition into a miner. So a whole whack of news really coming down the pipe, and hopefully looking at transitioning into doing a resource update and a economic study coming out that'll really be the backdrop to the valuation and revaluation or re-rate of our company.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate the update.
Thanks very much, Robert. Always a pleasure.
Cheers.